What if I told you there's a dark, slightly unethical method for getting accepted into top colleges? One that exploits the exact framework they use to choose students. And most applicants don't know about it. They think it's about perfect grades and stacked resumes, but it's not only that. They are betting on who you'll become in the future. After reviewing hundreds of applications, I saw the pattern. Those who got in weren't the most impressive on paper. They were the ones worth betting on. So in this video, I'll break down that framework and then show you how you can use it to flip the odds in your favor. I want to go through a quick exercise. So I'm going to show you a line following a path from point A to point B. And then you're going to tell me the chances of it reaching point C. Clear? Okay, let's go with line number 1. The line's making circles, going in loops, and barely reaches point B. So what are the odds it gets to point C? Well, not very high, right? Now I'm going to show you line number 2. This line moved on a straight path from point A to point B. So what are the odds that it reaches point C? Well, pretty probable, right? If from point A to point B it just followed a straight line, you can predict that it will continue going in that line until point C. Even if you don't really know what's gonna happen, you can still predict where it's gonna go. And this is exactly how college admissions work. The admissions officer at a prestigious college will try to predict where your career is going. And you have to be like line number 2. If you're like line 1 and you're scrambled all over the place, don't really know what to do with your life, then the colleges are gonna read your application and they're gonna think, how are you gonna suddenly know what path you're gonna follow during college? Because a college would want, obviously, someone that can take advantage of the resources. Now, if you're a line 2 student, you have a clear path that you've proven to follow and you've proven to grow on, and then you are gonna go to college, you're gonna take advantage of the resources, keep growing more, and then keep growing exponentially forever and make it big. And when you make it big, the college is gonna take credit for your development. And this is how colleges work. This is the science behind college admissions. They want to predict that you're gonna make it big so you can give back to the college in prestige or donations. What they do, if you really think about it, is that they lend you prestige that they've built over the years, they put their name on your diploma, and then when you make it big in a specific area, maybe you become a big entrepreneur, maybe you become a big scientist, they take the credit because thanks to them, you made it big. That's how it works. And you give prestige back to them in your success. And to predict that, you need to have that route to become that scientist or become that entrepreneur. If you've been programming ever since you were 3 years old and kept improving and going to hackathons and winning and keep going until your senior year and want to study computer science as a major, then the college will see that you have a trajectory of growing consistently growing, and maybe even exponentially. And at that point, they come in and you blow up, not because of the college, but because you were going to do it anyway. And they're going to take advantage of that. So if they can see a clear trajectory on your life, whatever it is, then you're golden, you're set. Because the college will want you there. Because they know you'll make it big. They're betting on you. And this is not a secret. They've been doing this forever. You can see it literally everywhere. So how can we flip this and take advantage of the prestige lending system? The way to do it is to show a clear path yourself. And look, most likely you won't have a clear path. Because we have interests that change, and that's human, and that's real, because we end up discovering new things about ourselves, especially when we're young. And you've probably seen people that know what they want to do ever since they've been like 10 years old or whatever. You've seen that. But the reality is that maybe that's not what they want to do. Or maybe it is, but that's not the average human. The average human changes trajectory, changes paths. Maybe when you were a kid, you liked collecting rocks. That doesn't mean you will want to do it at 25 years old. Obviously not. And this is why this method is dark and unethical. Because it isn't really human to follow and obligate yourself to follow one path forever. And I don't believe this is right. But at the same time, if we're talking strictly about college admissions, they want to see that clear path. They want to see it. And maybe you don't have it, but you can frame your life in a way that looks like it. Now, if you want to make this knowledge your advantage, there's one way to do it. And that's by defining your path. If you don't have a straight path during your whole life, that's fine. You could frame it in a way that makes sense. So let's say you were into business all your life, and then suddenly you want to study psychology. You can explain that. You can explain that, during sales and marketing and things, you found it really interesting how the mind works, and then you want to study psychology. Makes a lot of sense, right? And that's still a straight path, even if it doesn't seem like it. You need to straighten your path. Maybe you're like this, but you're not really like that if you frame it down and you make it straight and you make it make sense. There's a reason why you change your path, because you didn't really change it. You just found out something new about yourself. So if you have to take one thing from this video, is that don't think that much about what you're gonna build forward, but think about how you can build your story back. You cannot change it, but you can reframe it. And then think about how your future is gonna make that story even bigger. So when an admissions officer reads your file, they're gonna get really excited with your story because they can think about how much better they are gonna make it. And then they can take credit for it. That's how you take advantage of their system. And you may think that this is only for the elites. And that's also why the belief of elites being the only ones accepted to prestigious colleges is so popular. Yes, the elites have a lot of opportunities. They have more opportunities and they may have a clear career path because maybe their dad has a business that they're gonna end up working on or something like that. But who doesn't love an underdog story? Your favorite games, your favorite movies probably have the main character be an underdog that came from nothing to make himself something. And that's also what colleges look for. That's why you see so many people that have really sad stories end up making it to colleges like Harvard, Yale, Princeton, or any other prestigious college you can imagine. Because that story is inspiring. And when they make it big, thanks to the college, which they could have done maybe anyways, the college is going to be the one that saved them. And that's what they want. They not only want to be a part of the stories of people that are gonna make it big anyways, but they want to be the ones that boost you to your potential. So whoever you are, you can flip the script, you can take advantage of the prestige lending system, and you can end up getting accepted to your dream school.